Company, maker of ice cream, dairy products, grocery products, and fine cheese, presents Justice.
Tonight's story of Justice, with Rod Steiger and Philip Abbott, begins on a half-deserted street in the city. For each of us, the darkness of night has its own meaning. For some, it is a time of romance. For others, a time of rest. For still others, darkness is a time for trouble, of danger, of life and death.
Mr. Murray! Mr. Murray! Mr. Murray! Mr. Murray! Mr. Murray, can I stay in here a minute?
Something wrong, Mrs. Earhart?
My husband. I ran out of the house because he's been acting just terribly, and we had a terrible fight.
Well, now, you just sit right down here. My son will know how to handle this. I'll get him. And don't you worry, Mrs. Earhart. Whatever it is, my son and I'll see that you're treated right.
Thank you.
Tom! Oh, Tom!
Don't you put a hand on me. I'm not coming back.
Yeah? So now I'm not good enough for you, huh? All right, darling, let's go back upstairs and we'll see about that. We'll see.
Oh.
Hello, Marshall Adams again. This time with a most exciting product. It's one of Borden's newest, Borden's cheese sauce spread. Actually, it's a whole cheese pantry in a single glass. Imagine, you can scoop it, spread it, blend it, or heat it. Serve it hot on vegetables to add extra flavor and nourishment. Scoop it right from the glass on hot hamburgers. It melts in a jiffy. Or use Borden's cheese sauce in your family's favorite casseroles, like baked macaroni. It blends instantly, smooth and rich and tempting. Of course, it goes without saying this golden processed cheese is grand for snacks, too. It spreads like a breeze. Always save the glass. It's so useful. Do get Borden's cheese sauce at your grocer's dairy counter. Elsie tells you it's Borden's, so it's got to be good.
Mr. Murray, on your direct examination, you testified that you and your son have an apartment in the back of your shop. You went in the back to call your son. When you came out front again, there was no one there. And you happened to notice the knife you'd been working with wasn't on the table where you'd left it. Is that correct?
That is correct, sir.
And then what did you do?
I ran out on the sidewalk.
And your son?
My son came along with me.
When you got outside, what did you see? Tell the court in your own words.
Well, I saw Mr. Earhart sprawled out there on the sidewalk.
You knew Mr. Earhart?
Only by sight.
Never spoke much with him?
Well, I called on him once. Asked him to come to my Sunday school class. I teach a men's class, and I was hoping that he'd join.
When you saw him on the sidewalk, what did you do?
I bent down to see if he was hurt.
And was he hurt?
He was dead.
Did you observe anything else?
That he'd been stabbed with my knife.
Speak up so the jury can hear you.
I said I could see that the man was dead, that he'd been stabbed with my knife.
And then what did you do?
I looked up, and there she was.
Is the defendant the woman you saw?
Sir?
The woman sitting at the table. Is she the one you saw? Is that the woman?
It is, Your Honor.
What was she doing?
She was standing there over her husband.
No further questions. Now, you've testified that you were in the back getting supper when your father came to you. Is that correct?
That's correct.
You came into the shop?
did.
And out on the sidewalk?
I did.
And you've testified that you saw substantially what your father saw.
That's right.
Did you see anything else?
What?
Anything else?
Anything else catch your eye, or anyone else?
Was anyone else there or nearby?
No, sir.
You're certain?
Yes, sir.
Well, it was dark, wasn't it? And that's a dark street. Now, just suppose when you came out of the house, someone was standing under the steps. Would you have seen him?
I don't know, sir, but I didn't.
Mr. Murray, who came out of the shop first, you or withdrawn? How well did you know Mr. Earhart?
No, I saw him every so often.
Would you describe him as a prosperous man?
I would.
What was his business?
Well, he owned a pool hall, I think.
Can a man get prosperous from a pool hall?
I suppose he had other things.
Well, what other things? Do you know?
Well, he used to come and go in a big car, and quite often other big cars would stop in front of the house.
You never recognized any of these people that called?
No, sir.
Now, these men that came and went in big cars, what type of men would you say they were?
Your Honor, I object. Objection sustained.
Mr. Murray, let me ask you this. As far as you know, do you think the deceased might have had any enemies? Anyone that wanted him put out of the way?
Well, I wouldn't know at all.
Let's get back to who came out of the shop first. You or your father?
I did.
Now, isn't it possible that you might have seen someone, or caught a glimpse of someone, or a shadow that disappeared before your father came out? Now, isn't that possible?
I don't think so.
Mr. Murray, we have here a woman whose whole future's at stake. A woman who's been in this country only a few years. I am here seeking freedom from injustice.
Your Honor, I object. This has nothing whatsoever to do with the case.
Your Honor.
Sustained.
Now, you've heard this woman admit that she and her husband were struggling for the knife. You've also heard her deny that she so much as even touched him with that knife. Now, if we are to believe what she has said, someone must have come out of the shadow, grabbed the knife from her, and stabbed Mr. Earhart and ran. Do you realize that you and your father have this woman's liberty in your hands? Your father has testified. As far as he knows, there was no one else. As far as you know, was there anyone else?
No, there wasn't.
You're absolutely certain?
Counsel, will you stop badgering this witness? You've had him back 3 times in the course of this trial. And he's told you many times that as far as he knows, there was no one else.
No further questions.
Asparagus. I always remember this. Mother told me this. You never cut it. You snap it by feel.
What is that lawyer driving at?
How about a beer? Want a beer before supper?
Did you see something that I didn't see?
How could I? You were right there.
I watched your face on the witness stand.
What about it?
You know, Tom, you took a solemn oath to tell the truth, the whole truth.
Come on, Dad. Have a beer. Stop playing the judge.
Did you tell the whole truth, Tom?
Why would I lie? Think I want to see her go to the penitentiary?
I remember once, you were a little fella. You asked me if I loved you. And then you asked me if you ever did anything bad, would I still love you?
And you said you would.
That's right. I said no matter what you did, ever, I'd always be your father and I'd always love you.
I remember.
Just so long as you told me the truth.
Hey.
That's all I ever asked, Tom.
Well, why did you get the potatoes?
I'd take anything, face anything, I'd stick by you through anything. Now you know that, just so long as you told the truth.
What's the matter with you? You think I'm your Sunday school class?
Tom, did you see somebody else outside there?
No.
Will you shake on that?
Tommy? Remember me? Stephen Broderick?
Yeah, I remember. How are you, Rocky?
Oh, I'm fine, fine. I'm just trying to remember when I saw you last. It must have been 3 or 4 years, something like that.
Yeah, I guess it was.
You sure of that?
Sure, I'm sure.
Nothing can ever change your mind. I tell you why I asked, because I was down in Florida with my boss in Miami. We were relaxing, and then we followed the trials with great interest. Then we got a phone call which said that you were getting a little shaky in the courtroom.
Me?
That's right.
I never said I saw anybody else. Believe me, Rocky, you can trust me.
I know that. All right, I just think it's a shame that you had to stumble on me like that.
Yeah, well, I'll see you later.
Well, Tommy, don't worry about the woman's life. Worry about your own life. That's if you change your story. Okay?
Okay.
Okay.